Are you doing everything right financially and still not feeling free? You save diligently, you max out retirement accounts, you avoid lifestyle inflation, you delay gratification, and yet instead of feeling confident, calm, and in control about retirement, you feel anxious, you feel behind, you feel like you can never quite save enough. Here's the paradox I want to talk about today. In the pursuit of retiring with confidence, some people save so aggressively that they actually undermine the very freedom they're trying to create. So the question becomes, can too much saving hold you back from true financial freedom? Today, we're going to unpack what I call the retire with confidence paradox. By the end of this video, you'll understand why relentless saving doesn't always equal peace of mind, how oversaving can quietly damage your life today and your retirement tomorrow, and how to strike the right balance between future security and present freedom. This isn't about spending recklessly or abandoning discipline. It's about aligning your money with the life you actually want to live. So let's dive in. Most people who struggle with this paradox are not bad with money. In fact, they're usually very good with money. They're planners, they're disciplined, they're responsible. They've internalized a powerful message that sounds something like this: if I just saved more, I'll finally feel secure. And that message didn't come out of nowhere. We live in a world where pensions are mostly gone, market volatility is constant. Headlines scream about inflation, debt, and uncertainty, and financial media rewards extreme caution. So it makes sense that people respond by saving more and more and more. But here's the subtle shift that creates the paradox. Saving stops being a tool and starts becoming an identity. Instead of asking, what do I want my money to do for me? The question becomes, how can I save more? Instead of measuring success by progress toward a meaningful life, success becomes measured by account balances. And slowly, without realizing that, people trade freedom for control. Let me give you an example. I'll talk with a couple in their late 40s. They earn great incomes, they're maxing out retirement accounts, they're debt-free on paper, they're crushing it. But they haven't taken a meaningful vacation in years. They delay home improvements. They hesitate to spend money on experiences with their kids because we should probably save that. When I ask why, the answer is almost always the same. We just want to make sure we're okay. That's the paradox. They're financially strong, but emotionally constrained. Saving is healthy. Fear-based saving is not. There's an important difference. Healthy saving is proactive. Fear-based saving is reactive. Healthy saving says, we've thought this through and this aligns with our goals. Fear-based saving says, what if something bad happens? Fear-based saving often shows up in subtle ways. You keep moving the retirement number higher. You assume worst-case scenarios by default. You avoid spending even when it's clearly affordable. You feel guilt or anxiety after enjoyable purchases. And here's the key issue. Fear-based saving rarely ends because fear is not satisfied by logic. You can hit $1 million and still feel uneasy. You can hit 2 million and still worry about market crashes. You can fully fund retirement projections and still hesitate. Why? Because the underlying issue was never the math. It was uncertainty. And here's the hard truth. No amount of money eliminates uncertainty. Money can reduce risk. Money can create options. Money can absorb shocks. But money cannot eliminate the unknown. When people try to use savings as a way to eliminate uncertainty entirely, they end up stuck in an endless loop, always saving, never arriving. Every financial decision has a cost. We usually talk about the cost of spending, but saving has a cost too. It's called opportunity cost. When you oversave, you're not just delaying consumption, you're potentially giving up time, experiences, health, relationships, and memories. These are not things you can always buy later. Let's talk about time. Time is not evenly distributed across your life. You don't have the same energy, mobility, or interest at 70 that you do at 40. Travel looks different. Adventure looks different. Even simple pleasures feel different. When people say, we'll do that in retirement, I always pause because retirement is not guaranteed. And even when it happens, it's not the same version of you. Now, let's talk about health. You can have a perfectly funded retirement and limited physical ability to enjoy it. That's not pessimism, that's reality. Over-saving can quietly push meaningful living into a future that may not fully cooperate. And then there are relationships. Some of the most valuable experiences in life are shared. Trips with kids while they still want to go, time with parents while they're still healthy, flexibility to be present during key life moments. These windows don't stay open forever. Money is renewable. Time is not. One of the biggest myths in retirement planning is the idea that confidence comes from hitting a specific number. If I just get to this amount, I'll finally feel okay. But confidence doesn't come from a balance. Confidence comes from clarity. Clarity about your spending needs, your priorities, your trade-offs, and your plan. I've seen people with very modest portfolios feel calm and confident because they understand their plan deeply. And I've seen people with enormous portfolios feel anxious because they don't trust their assumptions. Confidence is not about perfection. It's about alignment. When your money strategy aligns with your values, confidence flows. When your strategy is driven by fear or comparison, confidence stays elusive. Here's a simple question I often ask clients. What is this money for? And if the answer is vague, retirement, security, just in case, that's a warning sign. Money needs a job, and that job should be tied to a life you can articulate clearly. So what's the alternative? If saving too much can hinder freedom, does that mean you should save less and spend more? Not exactly. The goal isn't reckless spending. The goal is intentional balance. Here's what that looks like in practice. First, define enough with intention. And enough is not a guess. Enough is not a headline. Enough is not what your neighbor has. Enough comes from thoughtful projections, reasonable assumptions, and a clear understanding of your lifestyle. When you define enough, saving becomes purposeful instead of endless. Second, separate safety from abundance. You need safety. You also should consider abundance. Safety covers emergency reserves, insurance, and baseline retirement income. Abundance covers experiences, flexibility, and joy. When everything is treated as safety, abundance gets squeezed out. Third, give yourself permission to enjoy money along the way. This is the hardest part for many disciplined savers. Enjoyment often feels irresponsible, even when it's not. But money unused for meaningful living is just numbers on a screen. And intentional enjoyment does not undermine discipline, it completes it. Let's talk about a few common mistakes I see among high savers. Mistake number one, assuming more is always better. More can be better until it isn't. At some point, additional saving produces diminishing emotional returns. Mistake number two, ignoring lifestyle creep in reverse. Just like spending can creep up, deprivation can creep in. Mistake number three, planning for worst case only. Good planning includes stress testing, but living as if the worst case is inevitable leads to unnecessary sacrifice. Mistake number four, comparing numbers instead of lives. Comparison steals clarity. Someone else's retirement number has nothing to do with your values, health, or priorities. Let's redefine retire with confidence. It does not mean having the biggest account, eliminating all risk, or never worrying again. Retiring with confidence means understanding your plan, trusting your assumptions, knowing your trade-offs, and feeling permission to live fully. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't require constant optimization. It doesn't chase perfection. It doesn't panic at every headline. It's grounded. And paradoxically, it often comes when people stop trying to save their way out of uncertainty and start planning their way through it. Let's bring this home. The retire with confidence paradox teaches us something important. Saving is essential. Discipline matters. Planning is critical. But when saving becomes driven by fear instead of purpose, it can quietly rob you of freedom. Here are the key takeaways. First, more saving does not automatically equal more confidence. Second, oversaving has real opportunity costs in time, health, and relationships. Third, confidence comes from clarity and alignment, not a magic number. And finally, the goal is not to choose between saving and living. The goal is to do both intentionally. Money is a tool, and tools are meant to be used. I'm Josh Duncan, partner at F5 Financial Planning. If you would like to learn more about how we help our clients achieve financial freedom for personal significance, please visit our website at www.f5fp.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.